All right, boys and girls, today's lesson is going to be on gearing. Um, like I said, I've been doing this stuff for a long time. I've had this particular 70 GTO for about 15 years now. And I have quite a few car-related Facebook groups, that sort of thing. And one of the most common questions and complaints that you run into is on the topic of gearing. When I bought this car, I went into it knowing full well that there were changes to be made. The guy that put the drivetrain together, it's a iron-headed Pontiac 455. He had a turbo 400 with a shift kit and a 3,000 RPM converter. And out back in the original 12 bolt was a set of 410 gears. And after I got it home, made it drivable, it was actually a lot of fun, just to drive around town, play with the occasional late model Mustang, that sort of thing. But I quickly found out that it was pretty well useless on the freeway. I live in Amarillo, Texas. Freeway speed limits are 75. Most people drive closer to 80 or 85. But anyway, let me grab my notes. With the 410 gear, turbo 400, and 27-inch rear tire, 75 miles per hour on the freeway, my tach was swinging up around 3,900 RPM. Add to that, this car's got some old school Flowmaster mufflers on it, and at 3,900 RPM, it was just a horrible drone inside the car that would literally give you a migraine within about a half an hour. So I had a 204R overdrive transmission core. So I ordered up the rebuild kit and a few upgraded parts. Got that all put together, put it in the car, and with the same gearing and rear tire, we're down to 2,600 RPM at 75. Not bad, and I probably could have lived with it, but once I got the RPMs down, I quickly found out that the rear end, whoever put that together, didn't get the pinion depth right. It was doing a lot of creaking and popping going around corners. It just wasn't any fun. So 2 or 3 years ago, I ran across a Black Friday sale on Amazon, ordered up a 3 Series Yukon gear carrier and a set of 331s. And with the overdrive transmission, that got us down to right at 2,100, 2,150 at 75 on the highway. So now I'm in love with the thing. I've got decent fuel economy. It's a quiet, smooth ride going down the highway. No drama. We've significantly decreased wear and tear on the engine. It doesn't run as hot as it used to. It's just much more pleasurable to drive, And, take this with a grain of salt. I'm an old dude. My drag racing days are way behind me. I probably haven't visited the local drag strip here in Amarillo in 20 years. It just doesn't interest me anymore. But always do the math and be honest with yourself about how you're going to drive the car, where you're going to drive the car, and what you expect from the car. I've seen a lot of guys fall into that trap. They get themselves a cool old car that reminds them of their high school days. Well, the first thing they want to do is order up a 600 or 700 horsepower big block 12-to-1 compression ratio, set of 410s, 433s, 456, you know, a 4-speed Muncie. They get it all put together, and it's great at the drag strip, but they quickly find out that they are just no fun to drive. You know, your octane requirements make your fuel too expensive, your fuel mileage sucks, it's noisy. If your cooling system is not up to par, you're liable to have overheating issues. It just takes all the fun out of it. So, you know, keep all that in mind whenever you're putting your car together. If you're an old guy like me and you intend to spend some time on the freeway, do the math. Because even with the 331 gear set, if I had stayed with the Turbo 400, that would still put us right around 3,100 RPM on the highway. Which, you know, for a Pontiac 455, these things have almost a 4.25 inch stroke. They're low RPM torque monsters. You just don't need or want all that RPM. You know, if you've got a stripped down early Nova with nothing in it but a roll cage and a driver's seat, and you frequent the drag strip, sure, go with the 373, 410, 433, whatever you want to do. But above all, be honest with yourself about your intentions for the car and where you're realistically going to drive it. You know, if you're back east somewhere, city folks, you know, you're driving around 35, 40 miles per hour all the time, you can get away with a lot more gear. If you're out west like me, 75 mile per hour speed limit, not so much. So keep that in mind. If you're in the early stages of putting a car together, look online. Summit has some wonderful calculators on their website. Just Google it up. Spicer is one that I use a lot. But you can figure out your highway speed, your gear ratios, tire sizes, all that kind of good stuff without ever having to buy anything. You know, that's the worst part of it, is so many guys buy all this stuff and put the car together, and then next thing you know, they've got a garage queen that sits under a cover 99.9% of the time because the damn thing's just too expensive to drive. You know, so be honest with yourself and gear the car accordingly. That's all I got for you today.